I guess we'll look back and then look forward. And it was nice being at home. And then obviously we had a road trip that we had to go on and two tough gyms to play in different ways. So LSU is always a tough match, just a bigger arena, airflow, and heading off to Ole Miss. It was a smaller arena, and all of a sudden it was drastically different from a high ball offense to a fast offense. And I thought we adjusted well, and the thing I was most proud of over the weekend is I think we were able to problem solve within both of those matches in different ways, and we found different ways to win in every set that we were playing in. So I'm excited about what happened. I think we showed some grit in both places, and that'll set us up for the future. I got asked at one point from a few of you guys that were on the road, just as being put in adverse environments help us, and I think it will. And looking forward, and we got two tough matches this weekend, obviously one at home, and just encouraging the 12th man to head on out and be a piece of it. One, I think it's going to be an amazing volleyball match. Two, it's a great way to celebrate Halloween. And three, it's to you. I'm really excited about that. And then we turn around and play another team in Orange on Sunday. And I think probably not to us, but I think to the general public, maybe a team that's overlooked in the SEC that I think is playing really, really good volleyball. So two really important matches, and excited for what's coming.
Jamie, just a win over Texas could speak for itself, but just in terms of, where your postseason jockeying could lead, what would a victory over them mean, with them being number 2 and you guys being right there?
Yeah, again, I know most questions are going to be centered around Texas, but both matches I think are important. They're both top 25 wins, and from an RPI standpoint, they both are about even in terms of boosting that just number next to your name and the RPI. Obviously, they talk about signature wins and those wins over top 10s. So beating Texas would be huge for that, of upgrading maybe our seeding within the tournament. And I think winning them both all of a sudden sends a message to the rest of the country as well.
How do you maybe mentally prepare for a weekend like this, where you're going to be in an emotional rivalry game and then you got to go take a long plane flight to play another ranked game?
Yeah, I talked about it early. Before we got off the airplane coming home from this road trip, I sat him down and I just said, hey, we have two matches. And I said the majority of the public's going to be paying attention to the Texas one because it's at home, but regardless of when. And I just made sure I said, hey, it's going to be a dogfight, win or lose. Emotionally, we got to turn around and be ready for Sunday, which is equally as important.
Does it feel like with how the season started and how everything is shaping out that kind of the season was culminating towards this little stretch right here as far as getting to where y'all need to be and jockeying for everything?
Yeah, it's the second press conference in a row where you guys are making me nervous. I think it is jockeying, and I think it's trying to figure out what seed we can be in the NCAA tournament at the end of the season. I think for all of us, it's kind of the same thing right now. These matches are going to impact that. I don't think they're going to determine who gets in and who doesn't get in, but I think winning them sends a message to the rest of the country and to that selection committee that we deserve to, have a higher seed within this. But yeah, it doesn't all come down to this. I've said this the entire season, and the teams that win conference championships are the ones that are able to take care of business week in and week out. And I think we've been able to do that. And the other thing that's happened is those other teams have been able to do that. And I think last year Texas kind of had that little stretch where they lost 3 in a row, and that cost them. And I think they're probably have that echoing in the back of their head that they got to be tuned in week in and week out. But then you get these matches where you get to go play in front of an amazing crowd, in front of a lot of people with, 2 top 10 teams playing in this. And I think both teams are going to enjoy it.
Last year was a statement win in Austin.
Yeah.
When you guys did this. So how much does last year's experience in that environment maybe prepare you and your team for what's coming this way?
Yeah, what's interesting, I don't remember who I was talking to, something media-wise this week, and someone brought up our match at home last year, and I actually feel like we're not used to, and again, I think we're getting used to it now, but last year we had almost 10,000 people in the stands. And I remember that first set, we were nervous because we hadn't had that. And I always say, I would just imagine before that what it would be like being on Kyle Field and having 100,000 people. When you do something well, when you go to cheer, you got the power of 100,000 people behind you. And just that's what we felt like last year. And I think the first set we kind of came out being we got to get used to this. And we ended up losing. And then the second set, it was all right, we're all, 10,000 and 30 people, including ourselves, are coming after you. And we beat up on Texas pretty good in that second set. So it's actually interesting. The message I'm going to start talking about today with our team was just we got to get used to and use this to our advantage. and for the people that weren't here, kind of explain what that felt like, because I thought it took us 30 minutes to get used to that. So, and then I don't think, and I was asked about this question, like, what does this, I don't know, match mean? When I took over the program, it was about trying to get it, I don't know, caught up to the point where we go into these matches and it's not necessarily an upset if we beat Texas. And I think we're at that spot right now where there's confidence in our team that we're going to go out and we're going to compete and we're going to do everything we can to win, and we're going to win. And I think that's the coolest thing right now. So I think we can lean on last year as in like, hey, we can beat this team. But I don't even think without that, I think there's a belief in kind of what we're doing and how we're going about our business that we're going to go out and compete on Friday.
Sometimes coaches try to do the nameless, faceless opponent, but it sounds like you're kind of embracing the fact that you know that this means more.
Yeah, I think I've gone through different phases of my coaching career where I wanted to treat every match the same, and you say that, and you can say it till you're blue in the face, but your players don't actually fully believe it. And we're going to treat, like, our scouting report's going to be exactly the same this week. We're going about practice, and like, we're really, I don't know, maybe even working on Texas less than we'd worked on some other opponents, because it's almost like we're playing the same style of volleyball back and forth with each other. So being in practice, just playing against ourselves is basically what we need to go do in order to prepare for this team. So we're going to treat it exactly the same. But I don't think they need me to get into the locker room and be like, hey, we really need to get up for this match right now. Like, it's I think it's one of those things where you got to let the reins off a little bit and let people go compete. So, I'm not, I don't know, counting on the fact that it's Texas for us to go out and play well. We're going to push the same way we do this week in practice. We're going to work the same way we work in practice. But I think to say it's exactly the same as other matches is doing it a little bit of disservice also.
You guys broke the attendance record last year. I think they broke it earlier this year. Just, is that something that you hope you guys could maybe reset, and just what that might mean to you?
I don't know if you know, but there's a rivalry between the two schools. So I don't think it was an accident that they all of a sudden hosted a match in a place that could hold more than Reed Arena. And the best thing that I think came of that is they didn't sell out Moody, and which I think would have been like 14,000, which would have been really hard here, especially with the fire marshal coming in at some point. But the fact that it was 10,000 and something, like, we can break. So just, if, I don't know, you're listening to this, which I don't know if the student base is, but come out and wear a costume and be there. And if you got a young family, like, come out and do trick-or-treating in the concourse and wear a costume there. But hopefully this is going to be the place to be on Friday. My neighborhood canceled Halloween and moved it to Thursday. So I thought that was an awesome thing where I think I'm basically buying full-size candy bars, and 5 of them for every kid in the neighborhood. But come on out and enjoy this. And we're trying to do something for every single audience that we have in the crowd here, and try to make it Halloween themed. But both teams are wearing black and orange. So we're trying to make it as festive as we can for the day.
What do you feel like your team maybe really learned in some of the high stakes matches that y'all weren't able to win earlier this season, whether it's SMU, TCU, or Kentucky, that maybe you can take and try and get over that hump in another top 10 game?
I think the first one is the way we go about our business during the week. I said we're going to treat practice the same this week, and it was on me a little bit in that trip up to Dallas. But I think we learned from that hey, we got to grind, we got to hold ourselves accountable to some small things, and the way we're going to win is by playing small ball and taking care of the little things that maybe some other teams don't. And then I think the Kentucky one, I think we learned in that, actually, because we came out different in the fourth set, just that those matches are going to be uncomfortable. We got to sit in it, we got to grind, and we have to make the other team quit at some point in that. And I think even in that match, and this is the thing I've been pretty proud of my team all year, like, even within those, we've learned lessons. So at that moment, I thought we snapped into it in the fourth, and it wasn't, hey, this is hard. It was like, we're going to make this hard on them. And I want that fourth set back, because I think that whole building wanted to go to 5. But I think we'll use both of those as lessons learned to make sure they come into this match.
What really stands out about Texas when you turn on the tape and scout them?
Physicality. I mean, they jump high and hit hard. And, I think that's the number one thing kind of when you look at them across the board. I mean, I've coached a lot of those teams with the U19 group or a lot of those players with the U19 group that I've had, and they just have really, really good athletes, and they play hard. I don't think you're going to be at that spot in the country in terms of the rankings if you're not playing hard.